We're talking about the weekend. It's a pretty common topic, isn't it? The weekend. But it's something that we often talk about in general conversation. Before the weekend, we often ask people about their plans, and after the weekend, we like to talk about what happened. What did you do? So in this video lesson, I'm going to give you some common ways to ask about the weekend and some common phrases we use when talking about our free time. So what do we say before the weekend? Imagine you have a job where you use English and it's Friday afternoon and you want to talk, chit-chat, we say, have a chat with your colleagues or maybe your clients, your customers. You're having a cup of tea in the lunchroom and you want to connect with them. What can you ask them to start a conversation? That's the important point, starting the conversation. Here are some questions we can ask. 3 things you can ask. What's happening for the weekend? What's happening? What is happening for the weekend? What's happening? What's happening for the weekend? So this just means, what are you doing on the weekend? You can say, what are you doing on the weekend? But it's a little more formal. And this course is about the informal, conversational English. So what's happening for the weekend? Number 2, got anything on this weekend? Got anything on this weekend? So got anything on this weekend means, have you got anything on? So when we say anything on, it means anything planned. Do you have anything planned for the weekend? Have you got, which is the possessive, isn't it? Do you have or have you got? What is the difference? Do you have? Have you got? So do you have anything planned for the weekend is more formal. Generally, it's just more formal situations. Have you got is more informal. Have you got anything planned? But we shorten it, we make it shorter, and we say, got anything on for the weekend? Okay. Number 3, any plans for the weekend? Any plans for the weekend? And we make it a little faster. Any plans for the weekend? So, in the formal way, this is, do you have any plans or have you got any plans for the weekend? But when we talk in everyday conversational English, we shorten, we simplify. So we remove some auxiliary verbs and we just say, any plans for the weekend? 3 questions to ask before the weekend. How about after the weekend? When you come back from work, it's Monday morning, you walk into work, maybe you work with a native speaker and he or she says, how was your weekend? How was your weekend? How was your weekend? How was? So the auxiliary verb in these kinds of sentences is softer. So was or were is not so important. It's important, but we don't stress it so much. So we say, how was? How was the weekend? Great. That's quite common. How was the weekend? We say the weekend. It means you can say, how was your weekend as well? It's quite common. How was your weekend? Or the weekend, which means the last weekend, the previous weekend. Next one. What did you get up to on the weekend? What did you get up to on the weekend? What did you get up to? Whadidja. What did you get up to on the weekend? So get up to is very common in informal conversational English. What does it mean? It simply means, what did you do in general? What did you do? Did you have a good time? You know, what did you get up to? Sometimes this has a mischievous element to it. So when we get up to something, it often means we did something a little bit naughty or like having a big party or having a secret date with someone. But it is also just general to mean, what did you do? What did you get up to? And number 3, did you get up to much on the weekend? Did you get up to much on the weekend? Did you get up to much? Did you get up to much on the weekend? Means, did you do much? Did you do anything interesting? Or maybe not much. Not much. Okay, so there we have 6 questions. 3 that you can ask before the weekend and 3 after. Now we're going to talk about some ways to respond. Some ways to respond to these questions about your weekend, using some common phrasal verbs and expressions. So, let me talk about a couple of common ones. We can say, I had a quiet weekend. I had a quiet weekend, actually. A quiet weekend means I didn't do much. Another expression for this is, it was pretty low-key. It was pretty low-key. Or, I kept it low-key. I kept it low-key. What's low-key? That just means you had a quiet weekend. You did not go to parties. You didn't see many people. You were calm and relaxed. The opposite is not high-key. We don't say I had a high-key weekend. The opposite would be maybe a wild weekend. I had a wild weekend. Means a lot of fun and a lot of parties and a lot of drinking maybe. Or I had a full-on weekend. A full-on weekend means very busy. A very busy. Full-on means very busy and intense. Let's look at 4 phrasal verbs we can use to talk about our free time. Catch up on something. Catch up with someone. Go out. Wind down. So, what did you get up to on the weekend? Actually, I caught up on some rest. I caught up on some rest. So the past for catch up on is caught up on. Irregular verb, caught up on. What does catch up on mean? Can you guess? It simply means to do something you didn't have time to do before. Maybe you had no time to rest. You've been so busy for 1 or 2 weeks or more, and finally you can catch up on some rest. It means you didn't rest for a long time and you need lots of rest. Catch up on some rest. What else did you do? What else did you do? What more? What else did you do? I caught up on some reading. What are you going to do this weekend? I'm going to catch up on some rest. I'm going to catch up on some reading. I need to catch up on some work. So maybe you have some emails or writing or reports to do. Catch up on some work. Okay, the next one. Catch up with someone. What did you get up to on the weekend? I caught up with some friends. So, catch up on means do something you didn't have time to do, and catch up with means meet with some friends that maybe you haven't seen for a while. Meet with some friends and spend social time with friends. Catch up with someone to talk, have a coffee. What are you doing this weekend? I'm catching up with a good friend. Go out. What's happening this weekend? I'm going out to a party. I'm going out to a party. Are you going out this weekend? No, I'm staying home. Going out. So go out, of course, has the general meaning, which means exit the home or the building. But when you talk about free time, it means to go to a bar, a pub, or a restaurant, or a party, or somewhere social. to a social event. What did you get up to last weekend? I went out for some drinks with some friends. We went out to a party. My wife and I went out for dinner. So, past tense, go out, went out. And wind down, to wind down. How was your Saturday? What did you get up to? I just wound down a bit. Just wound down. So the past for wind is wound. I need to wind down. What's it mean? It means relax after a lot of hard work or physical activity. When you've been really busy and you need to relax, you wind down. Another way to say this is unwind. To unwind. I'm going to wind down this weekend and watch some movies. I really need to unwind. I need to take a holiday. So, there you go. 6 questions you can ask about the weekend and 4 phrases you can use. Catch up on something, catch up with someone, go out somewhere, and wind down. Wind down. So, write these down in your workbook and then you will have an exercise to practice using them. See you in the next video.